Before the massive treasures of ancient Egypt were legally and spiritually transferred into the hands of a man who had been rotting in a dungeon for 12 long years, before King Solomon ever signed his first international trade agreement that would bring boatloads of gold and ivory into the gates of Jerusalem, and before any Jewish dynasty in history ever secured their first $1 million of generational wealth, there was always one specific thing they did first. They performed an audit of their own tongue. They realized that the mouth is not just a biological tool for consumption or a social tool for gossip. It is a spiritual printing press for the reality you are currently living in. I need you to stay with me, and I mean stay with me until the very last syllable of this high-level strategic briefing, because what I am about to reveal to you is not a positive thinking lecture for the weak-minded. It is a piece of prophetic speech technology so volatile and so mathematically certain that the elites of this world have guarded it like a state secret for 3 millennia. If you are sitting there right now with a bank account that looks like a ghost town, watching men with half your intelligence and zero work ethic build global empires while you struggle to pay for your own dinner, then you have a confession problem. You are a mental midget when it comes to the laws of the spiritual marketplace, and you are suffering because you have been taught by the broke and the blind that words are cheap, when in reality, your words are the most expensive assets you own. Today, I am going to stop being nice to you. I am going to stop treating you like a student who needs a pat on the back and start treating you like a general whose communication lines have been hijacked by the enemy. We are going to talk about why the most successful Jewish families on this planet never, under any circumstances, allow the phrase, "I can't afford it," to cross their lips. I am going to reveal the hidden law of the word, the Kabbalistic science of how the Hebrew root davar means both word and physical thing. If you are ready to stop being a spiritual tenant and start being a sovereign master of your own gold, I want you to type the words, "I command my wealth," in the comments below, right now. Type it with the raw fire of a man who is done being a victim of his own vocabulary. Hit that like button because every time you do, you are telling the universe that your vessel is finally ready to hear the truth. You think your poverty is a matter of luck or the economy? You are a fool. Your poverty is a decree that you have signed with your own mouth every time you voiced your limitations. The billionaire class knows that wealth is spoken into existence before it is ever held in the hand. In Kabbalah, the mouth is known as the pay, and the pay is the final gate of manifestation. If your gate is clogged with the filth of "I can't" and "it's too expensive," then the gold of the infinite has no legal way to enter your life. But today, we are going to perform a total extraction of your poverty rituals. I am going to show you why saying "I can't afford it" is a formal declaration of spiritual bankruptcy that forces the windows of heaven to bolt shut. But I am warning you right now. If your house is full of spiritual trash, if your bathroom is leaking mazal, and if you are still letting genetic saboteurs eat at your table, these words will do nothing but mock you. You need a total reconstruction of your architecture. We are moving toward the 10-minute mark of this training, and if you haven't realized that your entire internal blueprint is leaking millions of dollars like a rusted pipe in a basement, then you are truly a lost cause. You think a single tip is enough to fix a lifetime of bad speech? A tip is a spark, but you need a whole new power plant. This is why you must get the Mazal Reconstruction. This ebook is my digital manual for the top 1%. It is the only system on this planet that shows you how to identify the hidden leaks in your life, the phrases you use that kill your luck, the items in your home that act as poverty antennas, and the mental blocks that keep you playing like a peasant. If you are serious about this, if you are done being a wannabe who begs for crumbs, you need to go to the link in the description right now and get the Mazal Reconstruction. Use this law of speech to stop the drain tonight, but use the ebook to build the fortress that protects your wealth for 70 generations. If you don't get the book, you are essentially telling the universe that you are happy with a one-time insight and that you prefer to stay a beggar in a leaky house. Don't be that guy. Stop being cheap with your own soul and get the manual now. Now let us move to the physics of the word. In the Hebrew language, the word for word is davar. But if you look deeper into the ancient texts, you will see that davar also means thing or matter. This is not a coincidence of linguistics, it is a revelation of reality. It means that in the eyes of the Creator, a word and a physical object are the exact same substance in different states of density. When you speak, you are not just making noise, you are casting matter. When you say the words, "I can't afford it," you are taking the raw energy of your potential and you are freezing it into the form of lack. You are literally telling the spiritual courts, "I do not have the capacity to hold this asset." And because the universe is a perfect fiduciary that must follow your instructions, it immediately cancels the delivery of that asset. Most of you are social sluts with your speech. You tell everyone about your bills, you complain about the price of gas, and you bond with other broke people by talking about how hard things are. You are participating in a mass confession of poverty. You are logging in to the collective frequency of the broken. But a billionaire strategist understands that his speech is a sanctuary. He knows that the Sitra Akra, the other side, feeds on the sound of a man who has lost his authority. When you say, "I can't afford it," you are surrendering your sword. You are telling the parasites that you are open for looting. The Jewish people have been the most financially successful group in human history, not because they are smarter in the traditional sense, but because they have a covenant with the Word. They understand that they are anointed to be the head and not the tail. A head does not speak the language of a tail. A king does not speak the language of a servant. You need to understand that every time you voice a limitation, you are anchoring your soul to the dungeon you are trying to escape. Let's talk about the replacement protocol. If Jews never say, "I can't afford it," what do they say instead? They say, "It is not a priority for my vessel at this moment." Look at the difference in the physics of those two sentences. "I can't afford it" is a dead end. It is a wall. It is a statement of inability. But "it is not a priority" is a statement of sovereignty. It means you have the money, or you could get the money, but you are choosing where to deploy your soldiers. It keeps the hand of the infinite open. It signals to the higher courts that you are a manager who is making strategic decisions, not a victim who is being managed by his circumstances. Another replacement is, "The vessel for this has not yet been fully constructed." This acknowledges that the wealth exists in the spiritual realm, but you are currently working on the infrastructure to hold it. It keeps you in the frequency of construction rather than collapse. Most of you are currently in a state of spiritual anarchy. You have no rules for your mouth. You let every stray thought of fear and every whisper of doubt become a verbal decree. You are sabotaging your business deals before you even walk into the room because you spent the morning talking about how broke you feel. You are a mental midget playing with fire. You need to realize that your words are seeds. If you plant "I can't," you will harvest nothing. If you plant "I am a steward of the gold" will find a way to reach you. This is the law of resonance. Like attracts like. If you vibrate at the frequency of abundance, the physical manifestation of that frequency, wealth, must find you by law. It is as certain as gravity. But look at your social circle. You are hanging out with mazal poisoners who spend their whole lives talking about what they can't do. They are infected with the poverty virus, and they are passing it to you through the air you breathe. You are soaking in their resentment and their lack. And then you wonder why your anointing feels dull. You need to perform a social extraction immediately. You need to stop sharing your plans with people who don't have the vessel to understand them. The law of silence is your greatest shield. A billionaire doesn't announce his win. He simply lets the results speak for him. But you want the clout. You want the validation. You want people to think you're doing well. You are trading your future empire for a current ego hit. It is a terrible trade. You need to reconstruct your aura of mystery. Mystery is a magnet for wealth. Certainty is a magnet for tax. If everyone knows your numbers, everyone can audit your luck. Keep your mouth shut and your vessel sealed. I see you. You're at the halfway point of this video and you're thinking, Rabbi, it's just words. It's not that deep. And I will tell you, how is your not that deep life working for you? You are normal and you are stressed. You are balanced and you are broke. I am extreme and I am free. Which one do you want to be? You have been a tenant in your own life for too long, allowing the commoners and the peasants to dictate your frequency and your vocabulary. You need to become a social ghost. You need to move in the shadows of the elite. You need to reconstruct your identity from the inside out. This is not about fake it until you make it. That is a liar's philosophy. This is about align it until you find it. It is about aligning your speech with the laws of the king. If you are a child of the Creator, you are royalty. Does a prince ever look at a horse and say, I can't afford it? No. He knows the treasury of the Father is his. He simply decides if the horse is worthy of his time. You need to start looking at the world through the eyes of a high-value steward. Every dollar is a soldier. You don't spend soldiers. You deploy them into the field to bring back more territory. If you speak the language of a spender, you will always be a slave. If you speak the language of an investor, you will eventually be a master. But most of you are social sluts. You give your energy and your words to every resentful scavenger who asks for them. You are leaking the anointing before the ink is dry on your vision. You are your own worst enemy. You need the sword of separation, found in the ebook, to cut these habits out of your life once and for all. If you don't, you are just performing spiritual theater. You are a mental midget playing dress-up. I am giving you the key to the vault, but you are the one who has to walk through the door. And walking through the door means taking aggressive action on your vocabulary. For the next 30 days, I want you to perform a confession fast. Do not speak a single word of lack. Do not use the word expensive. Do not use the word impossible. Do not use the word struggle. If you feel those words coming up, you must seal the gate of your mouth. Touch your salt ritual pouch in your pocket and remember your covenant. Silence the slave within so the king can rise. You must understand that the anointing makes you a target. The Sitra Achra wants to ground your electricity so you never reach the palace. They use your own mouth as a discharge. Every time you complain, you lose a piece of your momentum. This is why successful men are often called cold. They aren't cold, they are insulated. They are protecting the fire that warms their family and their business. If they let everyone touch the fire with their broke words, the fire goes out. Protect your fire. This is why I am telling you to get the Mazal reconstruction right now. This is your chance to upgrade your internal operating system and install the social and verbal firewall that the top 1% use instinctively. This manual is a high-frequency blueprint. Reading it, studying it, and applying the SOPs will begin to overwrite the need for approval that was planted in you by a slave culture. It will give you the tactical SOPs to handle your social circle, your home altar, and your financial language like a high-level strategist. If you are too cheap to invest $50 in the shield of your own soul, then get off my channel and go watch the Magic Pill teachers who will tell you that everything is fine while you're drowning in debt. I only have time for the lions. I only have time for the men who are ready to rule their own tongue and their own destiny. The link is in the description. Buy the ebook, Reconstruct Your Mazal. This is my hard and aggressive final call to action for this video. You have two choices today. You can keep being the nice guy who complains with the commoners. You can keep saying, "I can't afford it," like a beggar at the gate. And you can continue to lease your luck to people who are secretly praying for your downfall. Or you can take the sword of separation. You can seal the mouth. You can kill the need for validation. And you can build a dynasty in the dark that will shine so bright the whole world will have to see it when it's finished. The financial miracle you have been praying for is not going to drop from the sky like a winning lottery ticket. It is going to grow in the soil of your silence and the atmosphere of your authority. If the atmosphere is contaminated by the noise of the broken, nothing will grow but weeds. If the atmosphere is sanctified and authoritative, the harvest will be infinite. Stop sharing your sacred fire with social ice. Stop letting low-value words touch your high-value anointing. Start acting like a man who is destined to own the mountain. You were not born to be a utility for the masses. You were born to be a leader of the tribe. But leadership requires discernment of the tongue. If you cannot discern between a word of life and a word of death, you are not fit for the gold. The Mazal reconstruction is the only truth that matters in this socially contaminated market. It is the firewall for your mind. It is the filter for your circle. It is the roadmap to the billionaire altar. If you leave this video without taking action, you are confirming to the universe that you are a lost cause. You are confirming that you prefer the social dopamine of a beggar over the economic dominion of a king. Don't be that man. Be the man who closes the door, shuts the mouth, and opens the vault. Be the man who understands that his confession is a holy thing that must be vetted before it is spoken. Every billionaire I know has a vault of silence. They don't talk about what they can't do. They show you what they have done. They are result-oriented, not approval-oriented. This is the secret. It's not about how popular you are, it's about how anointed you are. And anointing requires separation. You cannot be anointed and common at the same time. Choose your frequency. If you vibrate with the masses, you will always be an average earner. If you vibrate with the ancient strategists, you will eventually rule the marketplace. But you cannot vibrate with the palace while your mazal is being masticated by the teeth of your own self-doubt. Let's talk about the physics of the ayin hara. The evil eye is not just a look, it is a vibration of disruption. When you speak your wins or your plans to people who are in a state of hunger, you are inviting them to touch your mazal with their envy. You are cursing your own triumph. A strategist celebrates in silence. He celebrates with his vetted circle. He understands that the sacrament of success is a private conversation between him and the Creator. You, however, are turning your life into a public performance for people who are secretly waiting for the intermission so they can talk about your flaws. You are trading your mazal for social dopamine. It is a terrible trade. You are a mental midget if you think the validation of the tribe is worth the leakage of your anointing. Stop posting your wins. Stop bragging to your siblings. Reconstruct your sanctuary of silence. This is the reality of your situation. You are a chosen one who is acting like a commoner. You are blending in with the masses, listening to their poverty music, and hanging out with mazal poisoners. You are a high-voltage current trying to run through a clogged, broken pipe. The pipe is going to burst. You need to upgrade your spiritual plumbing. This is why you must audit every single biological attachment in your life. If you are sharing your energy with genetic saboteurs, you are leaking your future into the dirt. The law of separation is a requirement for the billionaire breakthrough. After you clean your bathroom and fix your kitchen, you must turn your attention to the altar of the family. You must slay the anchor, exorcise the competitor, and sever the spy. When you do this, your atmosphere will become pure. Your mind will become sharp. Your edge will return. And when you have an edge, you can cut through the noise of the marketplace and find the gold that is hidden from the masses. I will give you the treasures of darkness. This is the promise for the one who has a closed vessel. But an exposed vessel can only hold evaporating wealth. You don't want temporary money that comes with family drama and spiritual theft. You want generational wealth that comes with peace and authority. This is why I am telling you to get the Mazal reconstruction right now. This is your chance to touch the whole. This manual is a high-frequency object. Reading it will begin to overwrite the poverty programming in your brain that says, "But they're family." It will give you the tactical SOPs to handle your home, your business, and your genetic circle like a billionaire strategist. If you are too cheap to invest $50 in the blueprint of your own soul, then get off my channel. I only have time for the lions. I only have time for the men who are ready to rule. The link is in the description. Buy the ebook. Reconstruct your Mazal. This is my hard and aggressive final call to action for this video. You have two choices today. You can keep your genetic anchors, your genetic competitors, and your spiritual spies, and you can continue to leak your Mazal until it completely consumes your potential and your future. Or you can take the sword of separation. You can clear the debris from your social circle, you can fix your genetic plumbing, and you can build a dynasty that lasts for 100 years and blesses 70 generations. The financial miracle you have been praying for is not going to drop from the sky. It is going to flow through the sanctuary you build. If the sanctuary is infiltrated, the energy becomes parasitic. If the sanctuary is sealed, the energy becomes exponential. Stop sharing your sacred fire with the genetic cold. Stop sharing your high-value plans with low-value blood. Start acting like a man who is destined to own the mountain. The Mazal reconstruction is the only truth that matters in this chaotic, parasitic market. It is the surge protector for your soul. It is the filter for your energy. It is the roadmap to the palace. If you leave this video without taking action, you are confirming to the universe that you are a lost cause. You are confirming that you prefer the leaky plumbing of your current struggle. Don't be that man. Be the man who fixes the leak and builds the empire. Be the man who understands that his anointing is a gift from the Creator that must be guarded with his life. Every billionaire I know has a ritual of exclusion. They don't touch low-value blood when it comes to strategy. They don't touch low-value information. They are high-value because they only incorporate high-value things. This is the secret. It's not about how hard you work. It's about what you vibrate with. If you vibrate with the family drama, you will always be an actor in the drama. If you vibrate with the prophetic strategy, you will eventually rule the strategy. But you cannot vibrate with the palace while your mind is full of genetic resentment and your soul is full of relative insecurity. Clear the circle, perform the extraction, reclaim your plans, and for the love of the Creator, get the blueprint. The poverty infection is aggressive, and it enters through the blood link. The reconstruction is more powerful, and it enters through the soul choice. You have been warned. You have been instructed. Now, do you have the will to act? Or are you just another mental midget who likes to watch wealth videos while his genetic parasites are eating his lunch? I think I know the answer, but I want you to prove me wrong. Go to the comments and write, I am the master of my circle. Then go to the link and get the book. Your soul is the blueprint. Your life is the construction. Now get to work and stop leaking your mazal to the broken. Shalom. You are still here, which means you are either one of the anointed or you are a glutton for the truth. Listen to me. Your mouth is the most powerful weapon of mass construction in your possession. If you continue to use it to describe your lack, you are a suicide bomber of your own success. You are confessing yourself into a grave. Stop it. Reclaim the pay. Reclaim the davar. Reclaim the gold. The gates are open. The hand of the infinite is potich. It is opening right now. Are you going to reach out with a whole vessel, or are you going to keep your hands in the pockets of your used clothes? The choice is yours. Buy the manual. Fix the mouth. Rule the world. I want to see you in the palace. Shalom. Every single word you speak is a legal contract in the high courts of the spiritual realm. When you say, I can't, the universe signs the document and seals your fate. But when you say, I am a steward of the infinite, the universe begins to audit your accounts to see where the gold can be deposited. Most of you have closed accounts because of your broke speech. You are a high-risk client to the heavenly bank. You need to improve your spiritual credit score by reconstructing your mazel. This is the only path to the millions. If you are too lazy to watch your words, you are too lazy to be rich. A billionaire is a master of his internal dialogue. He doesn't let a single negative thought become a verbal decree. He is a silent sovereign. He is a prophetic prince. And you, my friend, are standing at the threshold of your own kingdom. Will you speak the words of a king or the words of a beggar? Will you click the link to the blueprint, or will you stay in the desert? I have given you the code. I have given you the warning. I have given you the manual. The rest is up to you. I want to see you dominate. I want to see you provide for your family. I want to see you be a light to the nations. But you can't be a light if you're drowning in the darkness of your own speech. Reconstruct your mazal. Get the book. Fix the pipe. Build the empire. Your soul is the blueprint. Your life is the construction. Now get to work and stop telling the world you're broke. Shalom. Final call. Click that link and get the mazal reconstruction right now. Don't think about it. Just do it. Your future self is begging you to take this step. Don't let him down. Buy the manual. Reconstruct your life. Dominance is your birthright. Claim it. Shalom.